Good morning. Thank you for joining us at Capstone Coffee Conversation. My name is Ryan Skogstad. I'm joined by Rob Norton, and it's good to see you all. A lot of times on these conversations, we talk about investment markets, what's going on recently, things for clients to be aware of. Sometimes we talk about investment products that we hear clients kind of bringing to us on a consistent basis. Today's going to be a little different. I'm going to talk about some housekeeping things. Sometimes we discuss how the business works in general. And so that's what we're going to chat about today. And an addition that Capstone has made to our lineup of types of things that, that we're able to offer to clients and that we thought we should be aware of. We're going to do a little bit of an interview style. I asked Rob to be here today. Rob is in charge. He's been tasked with being the compliance officer for Capstone. So I thought it was a good fit for him today in talking about a custodial relationship with an independent advisor. That's what we're going to talk about today is a custodian, because that's where we've made an addition for clients and advisors to begin to utilize if it so fits their needs. So Rob's going to turn it around at some point and do an interview style, and he'll be asking me some questions. But to start us off today, I thought it'd just be good for Rob to weigh in from a compliance perspective. What is important for a firm, for an advisor, or for clients to think about in choosing a custodian to hold the assets for client assets?
Thank you. Even though you called me the compliance officer. The major thing is an RIA for us to be able to be an independent and registered independent advisor, is we are legally bound as to the fiduciary standard, which means we have to work in your interest always. And you have legal recourse if we don't, right? So that's a big deal. It doesn't make us better than the other guys, but it sure clarifies the relationship, right? So being able to just work in our client's best interest at all times makes this job actually a little bit easier to just focus on a single thing. The other thing that we're tasked with that we sort of forget is best execution. And personally, I think it's a little silly in today's age. Best execution being, did you get the best price for a stock that's sold? Well, it was written in 1940 when we didn't really have technology that allowed us to have, click, buy something, and the money changes hands and the order changes hands and it routes from Salem, Oregon or wherever to New York and back again in 16 nanoseconds. What's best execution? So based on that, we then start looking at some other aspects of the business. Are we getting best execution on things other than just stock purchases? Like how do custodians make money? And when we kind of look at that aspect, very easily, are they charging account fees? Okay, so this custodian charges $250 an account, and that custodian doesn't. Okay, so it must be cheaper, and custodian B would be better. They also margin lending. If you borrow against securities that you have in one of your taxable accounts, how much money do they make? What are their margin rates? Can we negotiate for something better for our clients? They also make money, this one's easy, on net interest spread. How much do they pay on their money market? And how much do they make on their money market? How much do they concede to a client, right? Payment for order flow, that's another one. As recently, if you will, as 2001, 2002, we had two markets. We had the NASDAQ and we had the New York Stock Exchange, and that was it. We are now, I think, north of 30, I think it's like 33 different markets out there. And those markets pay custodians for their order flow. So they make money by sending it to specific markets for filling. And then securities lending. If you are a client and you are margining your securities, they can take your other securities and let somebody else borrow them and make money off of that. Your Merrill Lynch and your Morgan Stanleys do that regularly, and they don't necessarily share with the client. So those are the main 5 biggest ways that they make money. And so what we're looking for in a custodian is how are they making money? How is it costing our clients? And how is it benefiting our clients?
And a lot of times clients aren't even aware of all the behind the scenes things that are happening, I feel, but it does kind of flow through in fractions of pennies over time in either order flow or best execution or things of that nature. But there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that people are not aware of.
And I think that the order flow piece is difficult for people. We've heard about it, but we don't know until you dig deep on a 10Q for any given broker dealer. You really don't know how much they're making on it. So it's not like something that they publish regularly or daily. So so I know that we've looked at it, adding another custodian. What prompted the reasoning to just look and start the due diligence?
Yeah, so just to give a little history lesson for kind of how we got to where we're at today. In 2017, Capstone Wealth Advisors ventured out, and we were looking to go fully independent and add what's called a custodian. And some of the custodian names that people are very familiar with: Charles Schwab, obviously, where Capstone holds a majority of assets today, but Fidelity was out there, TD Ameritrade, and then there's numerous that are much smaller, but those three were the largest custodians. And so in 2017, we ventured out and tried to pick up a partner for clients' assets with. And at that time, we interviewed all three of those, did some extensive research, and came to the decision to partner with TD Ameritrade. And at the same time, unbeknownst to us, Craig Hewish with the Waterfront Financial Management Group was doing the same thing in 2017 and also chose TD Ameritrade as a custodian from his broker dealer. So in 2017, the clients that have been here for a long time, we all kind of partnered with TD Ameritrade as our custodian. We made that choice as TD was we thought the partnership with the advisor seemed the strongest with TD Ameritrade. They were a smaller firm, but really looking to grow and assist the advisors in becoming efficient, very technologically based group that we felt very aligned with. Schwab and Fidelity by far were the biggest, but TD was growing because of their work towards advisor relationships. Schwab last year finalized a merger with TD Ameritrade. And so all TD Ameritrade accounts now are Charles Schwab's accounts, unless something was done manually to do something different than that. But that happened automatically for all TD Ameritrade accounts. We had chosen TD Ameritrade on purpose for a reason over Charles Schwab and Fidelity again in 2017, and so had Craig Hewish for his clients. And some of those reasons came back to us and in realization after this change was made. And so we just wanted to go out and see, is there again a company that reminded us more of a feel of partnering with the custodian, where they're trying to assist us to be efficient, to help clients feel efficient and taken care of in a service model that resembled something more like TD Ameritrade, which we had and were very comfortable with at that time. So while we were there, we didn't really see a need for adding a second custodian. Now we want to make sure that clients have choice. So we, again, made some due diligence trips and came to a decision that it was time to add a choice or a second custodian for clients at Capstone.
I do remember those days of the conversation between us and TD of, they always said, we appreciate our business partner. And that, you just brought that up. So which custodian have we added?
Yeah, so just recently, we have begun to partner with Altruist. Altruist is a emerging, smaller custodian. They're not near as big as Schwab or Fidelity, but are growing. And for the same reason that we are looking at adding Altruist, or have recently done so, many other independent advisors are doing the same. And a lot of those advisors come from firms like TD Ameritrade, where they are trying to, again, partner with a custodian who has their best interest, who is looking to help them become efficient and work seamlessly with clients And so that is the relationship that we have added. We can add as many custodians as we want, right? We can make things very complex. That is not the goal. But we think adding a second custodian and at least providing a choice. And so Altruist is the team that we have added to the lineup at Capstone.
Nice. In adding Altruist, specifically what roadblocks are you trying to solve? What are we trying to remove?
Yeah. As we look at this, there's not a single reason that said, hey, this is something that we have to change, and this is why we're adding a second custodian. It is a culmination of numerous little things that add up to efficiency over time. And so we find ourselves now on the phone, on hold times, having difficult service requests where something that used to be very simple, where we could assist a client with in a few clicks of the mouse button, now takes a phone call, and sometimes it takes us requiring the client to call in. It takes us requiring the client to sign up for some online thing where now they have to verify, and just to change their tax withholding or to change a phone number or an email has become a very cumbersome task where the custodian now, they almost feel like the relationship is with the client and the client has to make all these changes, where Altruist has more of a feeling like that the advisor can be the advocate for the client. We can do that dirty work very simply with a company like TD Ameritrade or Altruist, where we can take care of a lot of those service pieces quickly and efficiently, which is what the client wants, which is what we want. And so that is a reason. It's, again, kind of death by a thousand cuts. Not one single issue or roadblock has created the absolute need, but it's a culmination of a lot of issues where we can help service the clients in a more efficient manner. And so we've decided to make that addition to solve those roadblocks.
One thing to add there, just the tax withholding is a great example. In that know your client / fiduciary responsibility. When we've worked with clients since 2004 together, we know towards the end of the year what their tax picture looks like, what they've had for withholdings to this point, and we've collaborated with their tax team. And so we now know on this last piece of their required minimum distribution, we only need this much withheld. And we were able to do that, and now we can't. Now it's a phone call and a one-day turnaround process, and sometimes there's a form that needs signed. And I think that's part of the know your client and fiduciary. You're acting in your client's best interest, and you're acting and say gainfully helping them. So you say addition of custodian. Is there anything required of clients?
No, right? So this is not a replacement of custodian. The Schwab TD merger was a replacement, and we didn't have a choice there. But there was no choice in that regard. If you had a TD Ameritrade account, you now have a Charles Schwab account. This is an addition to Capstone's lineup. So nothing needs to be done. If things are set up and comfortable and you're happy, then Schwab will continue to be a custodian choice for clients for us going forward. But this is an addition. So if clients are bumping their head against roadblocks and having frustrations of having to call in for this or that with Schwab, where it used to be very simple, this is a choice that people could say, well, you know what, I'm going to change my custodian and we're going to go a different direction. But by no means is this a replacement. We will move forward with 2 custodians and have that as an option for the people that it makes sense. And sometimes some advisors are starting to utilize that in a little bit more fashion. Some are not. And same thing with clients. Some clients are like that addition and that offering, and some clients are very comfortable and happy with how things are set. And that's great either way.
Follow-up thoughts. I've seen the Altruist platform, and I've been to their workshops as part of our due diligence. And their attitude is very much client first. And in that respect, it is both our clients and the advisor, as Altruist views the advisor as well as the clients as their clients, and putting them first, putting their needs first. And a core belief that technology can solve a lot of the work and save clients and advisors more time. Jason Wang, the CEO, has said point blank, his goal is to provide financial advice for everyone. And the t-shirt even says, you too. But what he's trying to do is free up cause efficiencies, free up time, and allow us to reach more people and provide better access to markets. And I think so far, what I've seen, he's on the road to accomplishing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I didn't mention this at the beginning. If there are any questions, please chat into the host. And I think a lot of folks have been doing this now for a while, and they know that's always an option. But please chat into the host, and we will try to answer any questions that you may have. One other thing I would add, Altruist is a younger, growing custodian. Schwab has been around for a long time. There are certain services, for instance, at Schwab, that we have access to that aren't available at some less mature custodians. That would be things like securities-based lending. You can get mortgage services even at Schwab, but we don't see many clients that are in need of securities-based lending or some of those types of services. But if that is a client that is utilizing some of those pieces, then Schwab is still a really good fit, right? So this is it's not a one size fits all. And I think that's the benefit of having the choice and options, is because for certain clients, Altruist might be the perfect spot. And for other clients, Schwab might be the best spot for them as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Kennedy now. Kennedy, are there any questions from our group?
Yeah, it looks like we have one question, and that is, what about performance, investment choice? How does this affect us or not?
Yes. Okay. So with any custodian, their goal is to simply hold money safely, securely, provide statements, provide reporting, all of that, right? At any of these custodians we're choosing, we are making sure that we have full access to the different investment markets and availability that we can find anywhere. So at Altruist, we're going to have same access that we have to any different types of investments that we are using at Schwab. We have, any type of change would just be a like to like. So portfolios move over exactly the same way that you're holding them now. So no change in, again, performance, investment choice. The only difference would be, a different service team, a different custodial website, etc. But no changes in that regard. Any other questions? Any other follow-ups?
One other follow-up. I've been in talking with some folks. Altruist is not a well-known name, right? They're newer, 6-7 years. But one thing that should be said there, they are marketing, catering to, and only working business to business. So they're not soliciting individual clients with a mass marketing campaign, Super Bowl ads or anything of that nature. So that's why clients will not have heard of them. But they have the same SIPC protections. They have that Altruist cash account with 1 million in FDIC insurance for an individual or 2 million for joint. That's a little more than the banks that we see out on Commercial Street. So I'm paying 5.1%. That's putting client first. It's biggest I've seen on the street.
Yeah.
How would viewing our account change online?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we try to direct clients to the Capstone portal, right? And the Capstone portal is a website that we run. We have full autonomy with. We're able to change your password, help you log in. And we designed the Capstone portal to formulate around the conversations that we are typically having with clients. So a lot of the same things you'll see us chat about in a client review is something you can pull up on the Capstone portal when you're on your own. So the Capstone portal is a software that we utilize that brings in all custodians. You could have money at Schwab and Altruist and view those both together on the Capstone portal, right? So the portal would have no changes. But if you wanted to look at your clients, your accounts directly at the custodial level, right now you'd have to go to the Schwab Alliance platform to review them at Schwab, or you would go to the Altruist platform if you wanted to view your accounts at Altruist. But we always, again, are trying to direct to Capstone portal. There'd be no changes in that regard.
And then one other question is there a change to fees if I change custodians?
No change to fees, right? You pay Capstone a fee to manage assets, and then we have partnerships where basically those custodians are getting paid from our partnership with them, but no change to client fee structure.
And no charge to your account for making the switch.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no cost to change.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us. Again, a little bit different conversation today, but we look forward to next month. We will let you know what that topic will be as we approach July, but everybody have a wonderful June, and thanks for joining.